My name is Maxine Troglauer. I'm German. I'm from Wiesbaden. It's close to Frankfurt. I play the bass trombone. I'm currently studying at Manhattan School of Music in New York. I'm right now not there. I'm right now in the middle of France, at a beautiful tiny village, and enjoying the summer.
Great. That sounds very difficult to be in a small, beautiful town in France in the middle of the summer. It sounds really, really difficult. I hope you'll be able to survive that. Well, we're delighted to have you be part of the conference this summer, even though it's a virtual online version. I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit about how you got into music and how you are sort of drawn to new music.
Sure. So music, I don't come from a musical family. So for me, it's more, I don't know, luck or a coincidence or anything like that. It was just an open day at my local music school. That was the start. And then I played in orchestras and all that stuff. And eventually I got to New York because I wanted to study with this very specific teacher there, who is by now, he's 75 now, Dave Taylor, but by now he's very into modern music. And especially after working in an orchestra, in an opera orchestra, I found out that like I want to go into a different direction. And then I found out about this program in New York. It's called Contemporary Performance Program, and it's a small program, and it really features every of the students. So it's really about you, and not only about what kind of instrument you play, which I find way more interesting, and that's why I'm drawn to contemporary music.
Yeah, and bass trombone, I would imagine bass trombone does not have like a huge repertoire for actual solo bass trombone or bass trombone with, other instruments like piano. I mean, so in a lot of ways, bass trombone is extremely rich and with possibilities for new works.
It is, I agree. And I agree, there's not a lot of works, and the works that are there I haven't played all of them, of course, so I don't want to say anything in general about all the pieces, but to me, they are sometimes a little too restricted. Like they see the trombone just as a one single voice melodic instrument. But if you have a solo work, you could add electronics, you could add multiphonics, you could add different layers that make it less solo, but not in a negative way, which just kind of fill up the space that you need when you have to breathe, for example. And I think this is why I think this conference is so cool, because with the composer I'm working with right now, she explores that electronic background thing, for example. And I think that's super cool because it, I mean, if you have a solo work, it can be pretty naked, especially with the trombone. Like if solo piano work, no problem at all. But with the trombone, you just play one phrase and then you have to breathe and another phrase. But if you have some sort of background, like a backbone, and then you can play on top of that, it makes it really interesting, I think.
Right, you can have more of an interaction with whatever the other sound that's being made. Sure, of course, that makes a lot of sense. So tell me a little bit about like what drives you or feeds you as a musician. Is there anything in particular that really is central to either making music or being interested in music, or that's just really important to you creatively?
Yes, difficult to answer. I've thought about this a lot during Corona, because this time nothing was happening. We studied officially, but if you do everything in front of a screen, it has a completely different quality, of course. And also for me, a lot changed when I moved to New York, because I had my kind of little network in Germany, and I had concerts, and for about a year I had a duo, for example, with a percussion player, and we had multiple concerts, like just the two of us, which was the first time for me in that kind of small setting. And when I moved to New York, all of that was over, because I didn't have the network. I was a new country, new scene, everything new. And basically since then, I didn't really stood on stage to actually play for people. And then I realized, wow, I really miss it. And even though I'm nervous every time I go on stage, literally every time, I actually miss that, exactly that adrenaline, because I get it from just being on stage and playing the first notes and not being sure if I actually gonna make it or not, or whatever. I can't get that from anything else, and I don't. Yeah, this is really unique to me. And then I've played trombone most of my life now. So since I started when I was 6, and most of my memories are with the trombone somehow. So by now, like even right now here, I'm actually traveling, and I was hiking the last days and stuff. There I didn't take my trombone, but usually I just take my trombone everywhere. And sort of, it's just so connected. I can't really think about anything else what I would do besides that, honestly.
Sure. Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. I mean, you're young, and also because you started pretty early on the instrument, there's sort of it's always there. It's very present in your in your experience. And I totally understand the being on stage, the nervousness, but sort of the thrill of it. It's like stakes. There are real stakes when you perform, and it creates a situation. A performance is a very specific situation where you are not only putting yourself out there, but you're also really trying to connect by putting yourself out there. And it's that's a really thrilling and exciting endeavor that all performers have to undertake.
Yes, definitely.
Is there something that's sort of non-musical in your life that you feel connects with your music? It could be a hobby, it could just be hiking. Is there anything particular that you really find connects with your creative life?
Definitely sport in general, I would say. But so the last 2 days I was hiking for the first time, and really we did 8 hours each day through the French Alps. Like I climbed a mountain I never thought I would climb. Anyway, but there I was on top of that mountain, and it was all foggy. We couldn't see further than 3 meters, and you don't hear a single sound. It was like you're in vacuum. And this was a really, really, really special endeavor. And same for me when I actually left New York to come to my parents' place, which is in a city, but you're very close to the forest. I went to the forest and heard those sounds, and I didn't hear a single car honk. I didn't hear anyone screaming. And even though I wasn't aware of how much I missed this, I then connected again to something that that you can't get in New York. And I love New York very much, but there's something you cannot get there, which is either silence or sounds that are just so natural that they actually sound like silence. I don't know if that makes sense. And through this, I realized that it's pretty important to go to those places, whether it's by biking, hiking, or however, to connect to those silences again. And every time I went to, or every time after the forest or the hiking or whatever, I felt way more, I was way more happier to actually play, because I had this experience before, and then I could say, okay, and now I play. Mm. And sometimes when you're just in this rush of, okay, playing, practicing, blah, 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 then you don't really feel this thrill to just, and if it's just a long note that you play, it's a great feeling sometimes. So, yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Is there anything in particular that's really important to you in today's world, and just once again, I mentioned this again, but you're young, and so you've got a whole future ahead of you. Is there anything important to you in today's world?
I think everything is about to change right now, and I don't know if I mention one thing now, if it's actually going to come back. I think for me it's important. So I care a lot about like environment and how our behavior affects our even the closest environment. So like how much trash we produce and all of that stuff. And for me, it would be really great to see for me if we get something positive out of this really hard time right now, where we understand what's actually important and what not. So like there's a lot of the economy is going down, but maybe we can get something good out of it, because we maybe realize that we don't have to consume so much, maybe. Mm-hmm. So that's important to me, that we actually understand that not everything is endless.
Great. Great timing.
Well, yeah, what a morality. End of story.
Super. Well, thanks so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Enjoy your time there.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a good day.